Globally, and welcome to episode 7 of Berrysville. The plans for today's episode is to make this custom U-drop-in cafe, which is made by KingLeno, which is a custom asset for this project. And we're also going to put down the town hall for Berrysville and also the post office. So those are the plans for episode 7. And we're jumping into making this or detailing around this U-drop-in cafe, which is made by KingLeno, as I said. So this asset just looks incredible. It's just such a cool asset. And yeah, so I asked KingLeno a few months back if he wanted to create this. I asked him before I started this project, because I knew where I would be taking inspiration from, because this is obviously like the main landmark in Shamrock. So I knew that I wanted to take a lot of inspiration from Shamrock, so that's why I decided to ask KingLeno if he wanted to make this, because I thought it would be sort of cool to have like some like famous building from Shamrock in this project, because we're just taking so much inspiration from Shamrock. And yeah, this asset just turned out amazing. It just looks so good, and I was so happy to put it down for the first time. I was just so excited to start using it. So yeah, thank you so much to KingLeno. It turned out amazing, and I don't know if you'll be able to download it when this video comes up. Probably not, but I know you'll probably be able to download it eventually on the workshop. But yeah, so we're doing some detailing around here. I'm putting down these sort of custom-made parking lots that I made with decals and props, and I think those turned out really nice. I didn't really know 100% how I wanted to detail around this U-drop-in cafe, so I took a lot of inspiration from the one in real life, which sort of makes sense. So the real life one did have some parking lots on this side, and we'll also be putting down like a Tesla charging station, so that'll be pretty cool, because there's actually one next to the U-drop-in cafe in Shamrock. So that's pretty nice. I found some nice charging props. But yeah, I just am still amazed how great this asset looks. It's just so cool. I know it took a lot of time for KingLeno to make this, because there's like a bunch of small details and stuff on the assets, but it turned out amazing. So once again, thank you so much, KingLeno. But putting down more decals and making it look a little bit rough. I know they rebuilt this this whole building in real life, because I think I don't know if it got destroyed or something, but I know they rebuilt it, so it became like a landmark, whatever. And it's in the Art Deco style, this whole building, and it's actually from the 1930s. So that's a little bit of history for you around this U-drop-in cafe. And yeah, so it is both a cafe and also a gas station. I think it works as a gas station in real life. I'm not sure actually. I think there might be, or I think cars might be able to fuel up there. Maybe not, I don't know. But I know it's a museum, but I'm not sure if cars can actually fuel up there. But yeah, then there's also a cafe. So it's a pretty cool building, and as I said, it has turned out, or it has turned into a museum. But now I'm doing this little interesting design here. So I put down these curbs by Ronix, and then I decided to put down some yellow lines on the edges on these curbs. And the idea where I got that idea from is from real life. So I looked around this U-drop-in cafe in real life, because I wanted to get some inspiration of what to detail around this, and I saw they had these like yellow lines on these curbs, and it is such a small detail, but it looks just incredible. And I know I've seen this like in other places in the US as well, but I haven't really thought about making anything like this in City Skylines. But I think it turned out really nice, and I'm making something similar around the post office as well. And I think it's just a pretty cool design to put down these yellow lines on these curbs. It just looks pretty interesting, and I think it looks better than just putting down the curbs and not doing anything more with them. So that's definitely a tip for you if you're making some type of American city. I've mostly seen these in American cities. I'm not sure if they sort of exist in other places, but they probably do. So yeah, anyways, I'm putting down some more weird decals and some damaged decals as well. I wanted to announce another thing. So today is Friday when this video comes up, and tomorrow, the 27th, there will actually be a stream on, I think it's on the Paradox channel. It will be a global build-off, and I will be participating in it. I will be in Team B, so go Team B. But I just wanted to let you know that that I will be in there, and also some other City Skylines creators and YouTubers that you probably know about. So just wanted to sort of announce that here on my channel as well. So make sure to go and watch that stream tomorrow. It will start at, I think it's 3 p.m. Central European Standard Time, or summertime, I think it is. But yeah, so I'll leave sort of the information about that in the description. But it is tomorrow when this video comes up, so make sure to check that out. It will be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to participating in it. So definitely go ahead and check that out. So now we're making the town hall and the area around it, and the asset I'm using for this is the police station by False Lucidity. So in the last episode I asked what type of building I should use for the town hall, and a lot of people said I should use this one by False Lucidity, and that it actually would make sense to sort of have the police station integrated into the town hall. And I took a lot of inspiration from actually a lot of different towns, and sort of wanted to know the feel for and how these sort of town hall areas look. And it seems like a lot of them look the same. They sort of seem to have these pathways, which I'm putting down right now. Seem to have those, and like an open grass field, usually in a square like this is. So I think this turned out pretty realistic, and I think this is sort of how it looks in real life. I think it looks pretty, I guess, similar to the ones I looked at in real life, and I'm very happy how this building turned out, and I think it works really nice for a town hall. And these pathways over here, which I'm putting down, I actually use these around the church, and I think it really gives like the American feel, I think, because a lot of American towns seem to have these sort of small pathways, and with like a small gap of grass between the road and these pathways, and I think that is just a small detail which makes it look like even more American, in my opinion. So I think this turned out really nice, actually. I'm pretty happy how it turned out. Let me know what you think, and feel free to come up with like stories and stuff for this town hall, if you have any. That would be sort of cool. But yeah, putting down some trees around this whole thing, which I also saw that was sort of common, that these areas have trees around. And then just soon I'll be making some like parking around this town hall, where the people, I guess, working there or going to visit can park their cars, which I'm doing here on screen. So I think this turned out really nice, and yeah, let me know what you think about it. So now it's time to get into the stories from the last episode. So yeah, let's jump right into that. The A. Marsh Finnan hardware store is located on Main Street in downtown Berrysville, across the side street from the town's fire department and kitty corner from the First Skyline Bank. Today it is a struggling business operated by Mrs. Agatha Finnan, the wife of the founder. As you can see from the storefront, there is not much going on in the shop, but back in 1972 A. Marsh Finnan ran a thriving business. That was, if you remember, the year that the hardware salesman Wilson Morgan was found dead of a gunshot wound floating in the pool at a local motel. The investigation into the murder took many months, but eventually it was determined that Wilson Morgan had no fixed residence. In fact, he had lived as a regular in many motels up and down Route 66 as he traveled from town to town on his sales route. In each town, as it turned out, he had a lady friend, and most of them were connected in some way to his hardware contacts. In Berrysville, Wilson Morgan's girl was none other than Marshall Finnan's daughter, Elizabeth. At the time, Beth was 17 years old and about to finish with high honors from Berrysville High School. Everyone in town believed she had high expectations of attending university in New Toulouse on her way to achieving a degree in the medical field. As the case eventually unfolded, police determined that when Marshall Finnan had gone to make a delivery of replacement pool pump parts to Jackson Smithers, the owner of the motel, he had stumbled across Wilson and Beth frolicking together in the motel pool. There had been an argument between Wilson and Marshall, with Marshall accusing Wilson of corrupting his baby girl, Beth, before Marshall finally left, dragging his crying and screaming daughter to his car to drive her home. Sometime later that night, he returned to the motel and shot Wilson dead in the pool. During the investigation, because no home or family of Wilson Morgan could be found, his body was kept in the morgue, and after the long months of investigation, Jackson Smithers Motel had already fallen into deep decline. Since there was little hope of reviving the motel business, it was he who had given permission for the authorities to bury Wilson Morgan's earthly remains by the pool, thinking that the curiosity of the grave marker might attract business to the growing renown of the haunted motel. Jackson Smithers Motel is now defunct, obviously. Marshall Finnan's hardware business still exists but struggles today under Agatha's care. Beth, meanwhile, did eventually graduate from university and still resides in New Toulouse with her husband and 2 adult daughters, who have followed in her footsteps professionally, and where she is now director of research and development for a major science contractor for the US government. The Berrysville Volunteer Fire Station was created in the late 90s because the old historic one closed due to faulty construction. There's nothing special about it, but its history is golden. In 2000, a military jet crashed on the outskirts of town, striking a farmer pasture, setting it ablaze. The fire department only had 5 men and 2 fire trucks. The fire grew to the point where a small township outside of Berrysville named Lance River caught ablaze. After 3 days, the fire was put out and the damage was excessive. Lance River and northern Berrysville was severely burnt. You can find burned sheds all around North Berrysville, signifying the bravery of the firefighters and the sad tragic loss of 4 people. This only brought Berrysville together and they rebuilt. However, Lance River wasn't so lucky and the whole entire town was abandoned. Lance River's population either moved to Berrysville or beyond, or was just killed in the fire. What's left is the roads resembling the town's layout and an abandoned farmstead. The first bank in Berrysville was opened by a young banker in the Wild West times. The bank became essential when oil was discovered in the hills nearby as the town needed a place to store the profit. During the Great Depression, the bank hit hard times and was forced to shut down. In the early 21st century, First Skyline got the permits and built a modern bank on the former lands. The story for the hardware store was created by Barth, and the fire station story was created by Ben Shaprison, pretty solid name there, and the bank story was created by the amazing Whale Shark. So thank you guys so much for those stories, I really enjoyed those, so hope to see more from you in the future. So now I'm just detailing around this post office that we put down. I definitely wanted to have a post office for this town, because I talked about in the last episode, a lot of these towns sort of have these post offices around. So this is definitely something I wanted to do, and I put it next to the town hall, which was suggested in the last episode. It sort of sucks that I can't use this post office as a real post office, because that's actually a new feature in the new Industries DLC. So you're able to have post offices work. And it sort of sucks that I can't really have this work as a real post office. Maybe there is some way to do it. Maybe there is some way to convert the building into like another category or something in the asset creator. I'm not sure. Let me know if you know any of that sort of stuff. But also just one last thing before we go and end off. I will get rid of like a store on the main street and make it like a abandoned lot or open lot, because that was suggested in the last episode. So we will do that, but I just didn't really have time to get around to that in today's episode. But don't worry, it will happen. But yeah, so this episode is coming to an end. Just wanted to let you know once again, make sure to check out the stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. So yeah, make sure to check that out. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like. And also if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I post updates and teasers, all sort of stuff like that. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.